Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we will wait for around 2-3 minutes and then I will begin. Meanwhile, I will just share the link in the group so that in case anyone wants to join in, you can join. I'm sharing the screen now. I hope you can see the screen. This is Essentials of Quranic Arabic, Volume 1. The author, this is the book, Masood Ranginwala. That is the author of the book. First, we will do one quick recap of the last class. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Last class, we began lesson number 4, which is al-huruf, which is the third portion of word. Any word, you can categorize it into 3 parts, and ismun, fi'lun, or harfun. Ismun are those words, they make sense by itself. They are not connected to time. Whereas fi'lun, they don't make sense by itself, but they are connected to time. And harfun, they are words that they don't make sense by itself. They are dependent on another word and they are not connected to time. So it is only fi'lun which is connected to time, which is like actions. And also the next topic which is there in this is jam'u taksir, that is broken plurals. In huruf, we said that we have different kinds of huruf. Main categories are huruf amila and huruf ghayr amila. The main very detailed chart, everything about it is mentioned in volume 2. What we will be doing mainly is huruf amila, which means they have a work to do. So based on what work they do, they are categorized again into 3 parts. Like how we did, ismun has the property of status. It can be either raf'un or nasbun or jar. Same way, and by default an ismun will be in rafa. If it is in nasb or if it is in jar, there will be a reason, which is this. There are many reasons for jar, like we have 2 reasons why a word will be in jar. For nasb, there are around 12 reasons why a word can go into nasb. 12 if I'm not mistaken, maybe, and I think rafa is 7, or it's the other way around. I'll have to check that. But there are a lot of reasons why an ismun will be in nasb or jar. Default will be rafa, so there has to be a reason. And jazm, an ismun doesn't go into jazm, but jazm state, a fi'lun, an action can go into jazm, because actions don't take a kasra, they don't go into jar state. So instead they go into a jazm state. So we started with huruful jar, this one. So you have huruf nasb, the huruf that cause a nasb on the word. Huruful jar, they cause a jar on the next word, and huruful jazm, they cause a jazm on the next word. So some of it will be acting on ismun, some of it will be acting on verbs, and some will act on both. Now huruful jar, we saw in English they are commonly known as prepositions, and these do not act on verbs. Why? Because these particles make the next word go into jar state, and a fi'lun will not go into jar. It is only ismun that go into jar. We have a list that we had to learn, which is this: ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. So whichever word comes after all these harf, they will be in jar. They are known as jar construction. So this is the jar, this is harf jar, and this is the word which is in jar. So it is called an ism which is in jar state is called majroor. This word is majroor. So this is jar wa majroor. Wa means and. So jar wa majroor. This is jar wa majroor. This is jar wa majroor here. Then this is jar, and an-nasi is majroor. So min an-nasi is jar wa majroor. Billahi jar wa majroor. Bil yawmi jar wa majroor. Bi mu'minina jar wa majroor. Also, we saw one more thing, that these harf, when they attach to pronouns, they just slightly vary. Like li plus hu, I don't say lihu, it will become lahu. Then ila plus hu will become ilaihi. This will go into jar and the ya will get the dots. Fihima, not fihuma. Alayhinna, not alayhunna. Alayhinna. Bihim. Minhu will be minhu, not minhi. Like how we changed this to fihima, and this became lahu. Alayhinna, but bihim, but here minhu. Min, not minhi. Then we saw that some nouns, they do the same action of harf jar, which is they make the next word into jar. They are known as dhuruf. Later on in sarf, we will see that each kind of root letter word will have its own zarf. Zarf, you will have two kinds of zarf. Means the word will describe the place of doing the action or the time of doing an action. So these words are known as zarf or zuruf in plural. Here we have a list which we need to know the meaning, like ba'da, hawla, qabla, ba'da, duna, min duna, ghayra, ladun, laday. You should know the meaning of these words. And here again, that it is classified as dharful makan, this column, and dharful zaman, this column. So the one which describe the place, where is it, and which describe the time, when. The next one which we will be doing, and yeah, one more thing was that particles of oath, which is ba, ta, and wow. Commonly used as wow. This is the one which we did in harf jar list. Those are the particles of oath. Like when we say wow, we have one more wow which is used for and, which is just for used for joining. It is also known as huruf atf, as we will see later on. Atfun, ayn, ta, and fa, atfun. That's just a conjunction. The one which is used as an oath, that is the one which is in harf jar. Today what we will be doing is huruf ul nasb. Nasb means going into the nasb state, which is fatha, for example, or two fathas, or aini and ina, ending and atin. So here one list that we have is the nasb, the huruf ul nasb. As we saw, the jar particles, they cannot act on verbs. Why? Because verb cannot go into kasra. So they will act only onto ismun. Whereas nasb, particles of nasb, both ismun and fi'lun can go into nasb. So you have some particles that work on nouns, which is on ismun, and some which work on fi'lun. So again, there is a group here. The one which act on nouns, they're inna wa akhawatuha, means inna and its sisters. That you here down, I think there is one or two more extra, but you need to remember this one. Yeah, in this table it is proper. That is here, the red one on top. Inna, anna, ka anna. You can add one more here after that. Bi anna, bi, ba kasra bi, bi anna. That's one word. So inna, anna, ka anna, bi anna, laita, lakinna, la'alla. So you have inna, anna, ka anna, bi anna, laita, lakinna, and la'alla. Inna is surely. Inna, surely. And this is used in the beginning. Okay. Anna is also surely, but it is used in the middle of a sentence. When you're going to begin, you will say inna, but whereas in the middle, when you use, you will say anna. Both mean surely. Then ka anna, kaf, as we saw, is for the like, the k in like. This is like this. When you want to show similarity, so this is as though. It is used to draw a parallel, which is something which is like something, some similarity. Laita is when you want to, when you just wish, like if something could have been, oh I wish, when you say like that, for that there is a word in Arabic, it is called as laita. You can translate it as if only. Lakinna, those who know Hindi and Urdu, this word will be very easy for them. It's just like saying lakin. So lakinna meaning but, or on the contrary, actually, lakinna, this is the case. Lakinna, this is the case. So actually, on the contrary. La'alla is perhaps or maybe. When we say la'alla, it becomes perhaps, maybe. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says la'alla, for us, like la'allakum tashkurun, then it means so that, or so as to. So if we have to do so and so, so that we become like this. So that time it's not a perhaps, it is surely. So something that we do so that we may become like this, then it means so that. So inna, anna, ka anna, bi anna, laita, lakinna, la'alla. That is harf of nasb. These act on ismun. Here there are some examples. For example, inna allaha la yanzuru ila صوركم وأموالكم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. Indeed, Allah does not like to look at your forms or your wealth, but He looks at your hearts and your actions. So here, if you see, it is not inna Allahu or inna Allahi, it is inna Allah. It's a fatha. Why? Because inna is a harf of nasb. It acts on ismun. So whenever the ism comes after it, it is going to be in nasb. Now here you have attached pronouns. Ka'annaka. Ka is the attached pronoun for you. And فإنه, the attached pronoun who is for huwa. So أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. That you worship him as if you see him, and if you cannot see him, then indeed he sees you. So this attached pronouns can be either nasb or jar. They are the same form in nasb and jar. How do you know here it's nasb? Because it is coming after a harf of nasb. Ka'anna is a harf of nasb. Because you see, which list does it fall into? Does it fall into Bata, Kaf, Lam, Wow list? No. When you see the whole list, it will not be there in that. Does it fall in Inna and its sisters list? Inna, Anna, Ka'anna, Bi, Anna. Yeah, Ka'anna. So that means it is harf of nasb. Then you have some harf of nasb which act on verbs, on actions. These will work only on mudari. Mudari verbs are present tense. They, in present and future, both have the same form. So in Arabic they are known as mudari. They are known as one. They, in meaning wise, it is future as well as present. Now they are put more in details in lesson number 10 when we reach there. For now, what you need to know is, usually in present tense, when you see the conjugation of these mudari, which is in lesson 10, they have dhamma at the end. Now these particles, what they do is, since they are particles of nasbun, they change the dhamma into a fatha. Fatha is nasb. And also the noon, if it is a dual, two people doing, or plural verb will have like una, you have noon, that noon will be cut off because you have to make it nasb. The most common particles are listed here, this list. Lan, an, lan, li, an, kay, idhan, hatta. An, lan, li, an, kay, idhan, hatta. So in this order, if you memorize, it will be easy to memorize. Most common are an and lan. Yeah, here down in the table you have a few more mentioned, but that's all right. It's most similar, but at least these 6 you need to memorize. An, lan, li, an, kay, idhan, hatta. Let us look at the meanings. An means that or to do so and so. And lan means will never. It is for future. There is also a word called lam for negative, that is for past tense. So never, but for the past tense. Lan is for future. So lan will never do whatever action is mentioned after this. So these are harf of nas for actions, for verbs. So after this you will always have an action. Then li, we also did li in harf of jar. Bata, kaf, lam, wow. Li. This is for you. Alhamdulillahi. That was in kasra. But this one is the one which is acting on verbs. The one which acts on verbs, li, is going to make it into nasb. So that. Li. Li takunu. Li. Or li kai, or kai, so that again. So li is also so that. Li kai is also so that. An is that. And so and so. And to do so and so. Then, therefore. Hatta is until. Allah may not. Li and for that. Allah may not, and li and for that. So here there are some examples mentioned. For example, لن تغني عنهم أموالهم ولا أولادهم من الله شيئا. Lan is will never. Never will their wealth nor their children avail them against Allah at all. Then particles of Jazm, we will cover this in the next class. I think for completion of half an hour, there's still more time. Just let me see anything is. Okay, yes, we can complete Jazm also today. And for the next class, we can do broken plural patterns. So Harf of Jazm is the one which causes a Jazm. Now in Ism, we just did that there are three states, Rafa, Nasb, and Jar. You don't have a Jazm state. So this Jazm is specific only to verbs. Okay, so when we did in order, Harf of Jar, Harf of Nasb, and Harf of Jazm. First one was only Ism. Second one, which is Nasb, was for both. And Jazm is only for Fi'lun. First is for Ismun, second is Ismun and Fi'lun, third is only Fi'lun. So how do you know? What will happen is the verbs, they will fall into Jazm state. They will have a sukoon at the end. Present tense, they go into Rafa, they go into Nasb, but they never go into the Jar state. Like how we have Rafa, Nasb, and Jar for Ismun. Fi'lun will have Rafa, Nasb, which is which one? Present one, present tense, not past tense. Past tense is based on a fatha, it's mabni. Mudare can change. It can be a rafa, it can be nasb, as we just now saw. Harf of nasb will make it nasb. They will not go into jar, instead they will go into the jazm state. And jazm are more than the other jar and nasb particles. You have harf of jazm more detail in lesson 10, wherein you have a whole chapter only about verbs. So for now, what you need to remember is li, that you should do so and so. That will, when you see that there is a present tense here in a sukoon, so then you should know that this is a harf of jazm over here. ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا. And do not obey one whose heart we have made heedless of our remembrance, and who follows his desire, and whose affair is ever in neglect. So there is li, there is la, which is this one. ولا تطع, it's normal negation, forbidding something. Li is encouraging something to do something. Lam, we saw lan before in harf of nasb. Lam makes it sukoon and it's past tense, did not do something in the past tense. Then in is condition if. In, lamma, not yet, when. So you will need one day, so tomorrow's day you can take, so that you can by heart the harf of nasb list, harf of jazm list, and their meanings as well. Okay, let us go through harf of jazm again. Li, la, lam, il, lamma. You can say li and la, then il, lam, lamma. Li, la, il, lam, lamma. Li is to do something, should do something. La is the opposite, negation, don't do something. Then in, if I did something, so you can relate it again. If, condition il, lam, no, I did not do something, and lamma, not yet, done not, I have not yet done something, or when done something. So li, la, il, lam, lamma. that is harf of Jazm. So here, inshallah, I will end the class, and then we will do day after tomorrow broken plurals. Meanwhile, please revise this class and learn it very well. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you have any questions, then please drop them in the group. So inshallah, we will discuss it over there. Wa alaikum assalam.